What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my Draftkings MMA picks for UFC Vegas 45, the final card of the year, looking to end it off with a bang. And we have a very good card here, very good main event. Derek Lewis, Chris Daukaus. Cannot wait to get into it. I say we get right into it, though. Before we get started, if you guys can please leave a like on the video. It always does help out a ton. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. That'd be much appreciated as well. But we will start with the fight. Doesn't go to decision lines. We have Lewis Daukaus minus 450. And it's safe to say that this fight is probably going to finish. You take a look at Chris Daukaus, this guy is a finisher, a 91% finish rate, 83% by knockout, 8% by submission. Derek Lewis, a finisher in his own right, 84%. With their combined losses, they have lost a combined 9 times inside the distance and 11 total losses as well. I think there's a very good chance this fight does finish. I'm more so on the Daukaus side. I do think he's going to be the minute winner in this fight. This is a guy that's going to have, the volume advantage. He's going to be the younger guy as well, but we know that it only takes one from Derek Lewis. So at 7,900, Derek Lewis definitely makes for an intriguing dog play, but I'm going to be more so on Daukaus here. But this is a fight I'm going to be nearly 100% exposed on. I'm thinking maybe like 60-40 in favor of Daukaus. I will give a slight advantage to Daukaus there, but it's a fight you're going to want to have both sides of. I think someone's getting knocked out here. Next we have Hunsucker Tafa minus 450. Fight doesn't go to decision. And this is a fight that, I would be shocked if this fight went the distance. Hunsucker is a guy that between 11 fights and even on his amateur fights, in his 11 pro fights, he has never been to the second round. I think the farthest he's went into a fight in his pro career is like 4 minutes in, if that. And this is a guy that has about 2 minutes of gas tank, and he does look in a lot much better shape. So maybe that 2 minutes turns into like 4 minutes. But this is a guy that gets in and gets out, win or lose. Hunsucker, obviously 100% finish rate. He's been knocked out 4 times. And then as far as Justin Tafa, same thing with him. Although he has 7 fights, he still has a 100% finish rate, and he has been knocked out before by DeCastro there. So yeah, I think Tafa is a very interesting option at 9,400. And then Hunsucker makes for a very intriguing pump play, because if Hunsucker does win, it's going to be in the first round. But either way, no matter who wins this fight, I do see it being in the first round. So obviously a very intriguing fight to target there with a minus 450. Fight doesn't go to decision price tag. Next, we have Stoltzfus going against Meerschaert minus 200. Fight doesn't go to decision. Typically, you're going to want to target a Meerschaert fight. In 47 fights, I think the guy's been to decision maybe 4 times, maybe 4 or 5 times. He has a 94% finish rate, 76% by submission. He's very dangerous, and he's been finished 11 times in his 14 losses. So when Meerschaert is winning, it is typically inside the distance. When Meerschaert is losing, it typically is inside the distance. I'm not completely, sold on Dustin Stoltzfus. I don't think he's that great. I think Meerschaert's going to have a lot of advantage pretty much everywhere this fight goes. So I am more so on the Meerschaert side. But, like I said, Meerschaert has been finished 11 times. Maybe Stoltzfus can potentially pull off an upset, and if he does, maybe it's going to be inside the distance. So I think Meerschaert for me, 9,000 is where I'm going to be looking at in this fight. But I don't hate a couple shots on the dog and Stoltzfus, because I think this fight finishes one way or another. And then we have the first fight of the night, Jordan Levitt going against Matt Sales, minus 185. Fight doesn't go to decision. This is a very binary fight where, if Jordan Levitt gets it down to the mat, there's a very good chance that he does find a submission. I've seen, Sales put in a ton of bad spots. He has been submitted before by Bryce Mitchell, and Levitt is, very tricky on the mat. So I think Levitt has a path to victory where he's able to get this fight down to the mat and possibly get a sub there. On the flip side, Matt Sales, he's 8,000. If he wins, it's going to be because he's able to keep this fight on the feet. He has a lot of knockout power, an 88% finish rate for Sales, and he's going to have a massive striking advantage here. And I think if he is able to keep this upright, I think he knocks out Levitt here. So a fight that I think is very sneaky to target. The first fight of the night, I think this fight does finish, whether it is a Levitt submission or whether it is a Sales knockout. I think it's one to target, though. Not really a strong lean one way or another, but I'm going to kind of split my exposure on this first fight of the night. I think it is pretty important. Getting into our core plays, Justin Tafa, 9,400. This is a fight I'm going to be very heavily exposed to. I know it's terrifying. It's a heavyweight fight. He's 9,400. He very well could lose, but, he missed weight. I believe he was like the first heavyweight ever to miss weight, which is a big red flag. I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know what's going on with him, but that doesn't give me a lot of confidence. But, Hunsucker, this guy could potentially be one of the worst fighters in the heavyweight division in history. This is a guy, Hunsucker, like I said, he's never seen the second round in his pro career. Even in his amateur career, I think he had like 10 plus fights in amateurs, and I think he saw the second round like one time. So this is a guy in Hunsucker that gets in, gets out. He doesn't like being hit. His striking defense is horrible. His chin's not great. I think Taffa does knock him out, but yeah, seeing Taffa on the scales definitely gives me some pause. But yeah, I think Taffa gets him out of here in the first round, but I will have some Hunsucker as a pump play. Chris Daukaus, 8,300. I like Daukaus here a lot. Like I mentioned earlier, thinking about doing like a 60-40 split. Daukaus is going to have so many advantages in this fight, and that's typically how it is in a Derek Lewis fight. You can be so confident in the guy going against him, like say Curtis Blades. I thought Curtis Blades had so many advantages in that fight, but it only takes one shot from Derek Lewis, so I'm not going all in on Chris Daukaus. That wouldn't be smart, because Derek Lewis always has a chance against anybody in the world, and it would not shock me if Derek Lewis did knock out Daukaus, but I do think Daukaus gets this done more often than not. 8,300, I think if he does win it, there's a really, really good chance it ends up on the optimal lineup. Mateusz Gamrot, 8,500. I really like this guy. I mean, this is a very well-rounded fighter. Good cardio, good striking, good output, great wrestling, BJJ black belt. I mean, this is a guy that is about as well-rounded as you can get. He has taken a big step up in competition going against Diego Ferreira, but Diego Ferreira, he's now 36 years old. He's getting up there in age. He's on a 2-fight skid, but it was against two very good guys. I just think Gamrot, he can come out here if he does win. I think he's going to mix in takedowns. His wrestling's really good, and I think he's going to pick apart Diego Ferreira on the feet, maybe get a late finish if Ferreira does slow down like he did in his last fight. But yeah, I think Gamrot's very intriguing at 8,500. Like him as a core play there. And then Ricky Simone at 9,200. This guy is DraftKings gold on paper. Assunção has a very good takedown defense sitting at 80%, but when you look more into it, he doesn't fight a ton of guys that are going to want to try to take him down, especially as of late. Ricky Simone's takedown numbers are phenomenal. Lands 6.93 takedowns per 50 minutes with a 54% takedown accuracy. So he's attempting a ton of takedowns, and he's getting them at over a 50% clip. Very impressive. I think he mixes in takedowns here and a lot of them, and he puts up a pretty solid score and a win. All right, getting into our GBP plays here. Gerald Meerschaert, 9,000, talked about it a little bit. This guy has, so much finishing ability, 94% finish rate, and again, he's kind of a killer-be-killed fighter in the UFC and in his career, but I just don't know if Stoltzfus is going to be able to get Meerschaert out of there one way or another. I think Meerschaert's going to have the advantage on the feet, and I think if this fight hits the mat, although Stoltzfus is a black belt in his own right, I still give Meerschaert the advantage down there. So I think Meerschaert wins. I think he wins inside the distance at 9,000. I think it's a pretty solid price tag there. Jordan Levitt, 8,200. Yeah, like I said, binary fight. If Jordan Levitt gets his fight down to the mat early on, I think the submission is very live. So yeah, I think he has first round submission upside. If it does get extended, I kind of worry about the cardio a little bit. I really worry about his striking. A very one-dimensional fighter, but he very well could submit Sales in the first round. If he does, it's a big score. So I like Jordan Levitt, but I like this fight as a whole to target. Charles Jourdain, 8,900. Speaking of finishing rates, this guy has a 100% finish rate. He has never won by decision, which is very impressive. Going against Andre Ewell, who Andre Ewell has been finished 5 times, twice by knockout, 3 times by submission. Andre Ewell is the guy that's coming up a weight class here. Andre Ewell is the guy that we have seen slow down as the fight went on. He's been finished in multiple third rounds as well. And I think Charles Jourdain could potentially get a late finish here. He's just so dangerous. 8,900, it seems a little bit steep, but that 100% finish rate is really sticking out. I think if Charles Jourdain wins, it is inside the distance. And I don't think it'll be too popular as well. So give me Charles Jourdain, 8,900. And then Amanda Lemos, 9,500. I don't have a ton of interest in Lemos here. If she does not get the first round finish, I don't know if she makes the optimal lineup. I mean, $9,500 is pretty crazy. Angela Hill, she's very tough. 23 fights. She's never been knocked out. She has been submitted twice, so that could be a path to victory if she does choose to go there. But Angela Hill has improved her takedown defense quite a bit, in the past couple of years. But yeah, I like Lemos here. I think she has first round finish upside. But again, if she does not get that first round finish, I think she kind of busts at 9,500. So I'll have a little bit just in case she does get an early finish. But I'm not completely excited about laying 9,500 against Lemos or for Lemos there. Live dogs, Derek Lewis, 7,900. This guy's the definition of a live dog. He's live in every single fight he's in, no matter what. Even in fights you think he's going to get absolutely destroyed, he's live in. Has a ton of power, and Daukaus is still very unproven. We have not seen Daukaus, get into the late second round, the third round, much in his career. And when we have seen him get extended, early on in his career, he has slowed down as the fight went on. And what we know with Derek Lewis is if he does get extended, he's going to carry that power through, every single round of the fight. So, Derek Lewis is going to not only be live in the fight, but be live, every single second of this fight. It only takes one shot. So you got to have some Lewis. Any Lewis fight, you got to have someone because of that reason. I think he could knock out Daukaus. It would not shock me, but I'll have like 60-40 in terms of Daukaus and then 40% of Derek Lewis here. That's my plan. Melissa Gatto, 7,500, decent dog play here. I think she's going to be one of the more popular dogs on the slate. And, there's just some concerns with Eubanks here. The first concern, she's 36 years old. The second concern is she did miss weight. She did not look great at all on the scales. So that's not good. We have seen Eubanks slow down as the fight went on. How's that weight cut going to affect Eubanks? All very scary things. On top of that, Gatto, she's only 25 years old. She's making massive, massive improvements. So yeah, it's a terrifying spot, for Eubanks here. She's going to be 11 years older than Gatto, and she's also going to be at a height and reach disadvantage. And on top of that, she just missed weight and looked horrible on the scale. So I think that opens up a lot of things for Gatto here. 7,500, although I'm picking Eubanks, I'm a little iffy on that pick, especially now after seeing the weigh-ins, but I think, Gatto definitely has a chance to pull off the upset here. Maybe even get a late finish if Eubanks does slow down a ton. Darren Elkins, 7,400. I'm picking against him here. I like Cub Swanson to get the win, but if Darren Elkins does win, you can expect a lot of takedowns. We see that, throughout the career of Swanson, his takedown defense is 60%. He has been taken down. His takedown defense as of late has been looking a lot better. And then we see that Swanson has been submitted 7 times in his career. So, the path to victory could be there for Elkins if he's able to mix in the takedowns, maybe get a late submission, but 7,400. If he wins, I think he scores well. I'm picking him to lose, but he's somebody I'm looking at for a dog. There's not a ton of dogs that stick out this week, honestly, but he is one that I don't hate. Josh Parisian, 7,600. This is very ugly. It's a ugly heavyweight fight here that could really go either way, and we're getting Parisian here at 7,600. I don't love it, but he does have an 85% finish rate. We see that Mays has been finished in all of his losses, twice by sub, once by knockout. Parisian has won every single one, but I think he has 2 decision wins on his record. He's 7,600. He's cheap. I don't hate some shots on Josh Parisian. Very low level heavyweight fight, but at 7,600, I'm willing to take a couple shots there. Pump plays, Harry Hunsucker, 6,800. Tafa missed weight at heavyweight. He looked pretty bad on the scales. Hunsucker looks the best he's ever had. Maybe Hunsucker can pull off the upset here. Hunsucker does have a brown belt and BJJ in his back pocket, multiple submissions outside of the UFC. Maybe he's able to get down Tafa early and submit him. That would not completely shock me. Nothing would shock me in this fight. So a fight I'm going to be very heavily invested in. I think it ends in round 1, and I think that makes Hunsucker a very intriguing pump play. And then fade Stephen Thompson, 9,100. No takedown upside, no control time upside, and more than likely no finish upside as well. So don't see myself getting on Stephen Thompson this week. 9,100 is pretty easy fade for me. All right, guys, that is about it. Thank you all for watching. You guys can smash the like button on your way out. Subscribe here to DFS by the numbers. Last DraftKings video of the year. I'll be back next year in January. Mid-January, cannot wait to be back. I'm going to be working on some things. Cannot wait to show you guys what I have in store. So yeah, that's been it, guys. Good luck. Let's make some money. Let's end the year on a high note. Talk to you very soon. See you guys.